Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a few moments and I want to show you the easiest and most durable way of tying that swivel clip onto the end of your fishing line using what's called the Palomar knot. Now we're not going to waste a great deal of time today talking about advanced setups and all that stuff. This is all about you getting that new fishing pole and reel and stuff and getting your line all set and ready and what you need to do to get yourself as quickly and durable out on that water to go fishing and have an easy interchangeable setup. Now there's literally countless amounts of tutorial videos on the internet and YouTube these days of folks out there showing you step-by-step ways of setting up your fishing rig and such. Today this video is about you folks out there that may have a little bit of difficulty when it comes to tying certain knots, and especially when it comes to the size of a fishing line and such. I'm going to show you how to put this little system together really quickly, real easily, very durable, where you're going to spend more time fishing than messing around fiddling with a stupid knot. All right, so the first thing we're going to do to tie the Palomar knot is take the end of our fishing line, as you see right here, and pull yourself out a really good foot, at least a foot. Don't chintz out on it. You got to have plenty to work with. We can always trim off the excess later. And pull it back on itself, so that way you're making a loop. Look closely, there's the end of that little loop. Remember, we took a foot, 2 feet at the end of our fishing line, and we just wrapped it over on itself and doubled it up, and then we're cinching down the end of that little loop right there, and I know you can see that if you look closely. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our swivel clip. That's the clip end. We got the swivel end up here where it's got a little eyelet. We're going to pass that little loop to our eyelet on our swivel. Kind of like that. See that? Remember, we still have a loop up here. We're holding on to it just like that, so there's plenty of room to work. Let me show you the next step. Now that we have our fishing line that's looped over and the loop is gone through the eyelet of our swivel clip, and to keep it in that position, bring the end up that's got the loop, like so. What we're going to do is come back on this other end that has a tag end to it, and we're going to fold it over like we're tying our shoe. See that? And go through that loop that we just created, such as that. Now before you cinch it down, see what we're working with there? We're going to take that swivel and we're going to pass it back up through that loop you just passed through the eyelet. Watch carefully. And we're going to take this tag end that we're holding on to over here, and we're going to slide that up to the head of that swivel. Just like that. That right there is the Palomar knot. See that? All right, there's a lot of guys out there that have different ways of tying these knots. At the end of the video, I'll show you again in real time exactly how to do that. Let's move on. There's your swivel clip with the Palomar knot that we just tied there. As you see, there's excess line that's kind of just hanging out here that we want to get rid of. Some guys will carry around knives and they want to cut it that way, or a pair of scissors. To utilize the most space in your tackle box, a simple pair of nail clippers will do the job just fine. See that? Very compact. See, now that you have your little swivel clip all set into place with the very durable and easy Palomar knot and stuff, this allows you to go ahead and interchange out those little baits, lures, all that good stuff. So when you cast this a half a dozen times and it's not working, you simply unclip it, take it off, and put your next little lure on there. Or even if you wanted to, put a snelled hook on there with some live bait. We'll talk about that in another video though. That is the best setup to get you out on the water as quickly as you possibly can. All right, so we're gonna take a second. I'm gonna show you that Palomar knot one more time, but before we do that, back when I was growing up as a kid, I was taught to always take your little swivel and take your fishing line and just push it through the swivel. If I can see that or not. Like so. And bring it back on itself. And twist it, and twist it, and twist it, and twist it, and then bring the line back up through that loop and cinch it. Well, the problem I found out using that method is it has tendency of sliding off of there, not unless you triple or 4 or 5 times around there with different knots and stuff. By that time, you could have already tied 3 or 4 times with this particular knot we're talking about today. All right, one more time with the Palomar knot. Take the end of your fishing line, pull off about, I don't know, a foot or 2. Bring it back on itself. What you're doing is creating a loop at this point. And you kind of cinch it down a little bit until that little loop gets to be smaller and smaller. You're going to take the end of that little loop, and then you're going to take the eyelet on your swivel clip, this little guy right there. We're going to pass that loop through the eyelet of your swivel clip. just like that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you're going to take that loop end that you're holding on to, and you're going to bring it around, pass it back through that loop, like so. Can you see that? Before you cinch that down, bring that swivel clip back up to that final loop you're still holding on to, tag end, and then slide it up tight to the end of that swivel. Just like that. Beautiful thing. No mess. Take your tag end that we're not using, we don't want it around or anymore. Just like that. Simple pair of nail clippers will do the trick. Up through and clip off any excess line that you have. Just like that. Now you're ready to put your lure or whatever else is on there and get fishing. Pretty slick. The Palomar knot. Hey, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the video. This was a video targeted towards you folks out there that may have a difficult time when it comes to tying certain knots, especially fiddling around with a tiny little fishing line such as this. And people get to the point where they get stressed out and they end up fouling the rig and all that stuff and throwing things down on the ground, things get broke, or they throw it in the car and say, I'm not going fishing a while, this sucks. Don't get yourself stressed out about it. This simple little knot called the Palomar knot, paired with a swivel clip, will help save the day. It'll allow you to have much more enjoyable time out on that water, easy to take your bait on and off, and just have a better time whether you catch any fish or not. At least you're not wasting your day screwing around with a little fishing line. Got any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.